So when I'm using Powertex, I have a couple of things that I do. I make sure that I cover my table with something to protect it. It's not going to stick to a plastic table, but it does reduce the cleanup. I also make sure that I cover my clothes because as a fabric hardener, it's going to make my clothes absolutely rock hard, which is kind of interesting. When you first get your bottle of Powertex, or if it's been sitting on the shelf for a while, you really need to stir it. Take the lid off, get a stick into the bottle and really give it a good stir. Then put the lid back on and shake like crazy. And what that will do is gets the pigment up from the bottom of the bottle and it'll make it all start to work together. It'll mix the medium through with the pigment. You won't get lumpy bits. It'll be much nicer to work with. So that's one of the first things that I do. Then when I'm using it, I'm using plastic pallets or plastic bowls or those kinds of things, ice cream lids, that kind of stuff, so that the Powertex doesn't stick to it. I can peel it off if it's dry, if it dries in the container. I have a set of paintbrushes that are old spongy ones that I use with Powertex, and I have another set that I use with other mediums. So Powertex is a lot of work to get out of, but it does wash up in warm soapy water. So it's not toxic, it's very environmentally friendly. And the bucket, I use a bucket in the sink, and at the end of the day, the bucket has a whole lot of sludge in the bottom. I let it settle, pour the water off the top of that, take it out into the garden, give it a bit of a swill around in the bottom and tip that out in the garden. And the plants love it. Who knew? But that's what makes my studio practice able to be as ecologically friendly as it possibly can. The other thing that I found is that if I put the lid onto my Powertex bottle and I haven't cleaned the rim of the bottle, the lid often gets stuck in place. So one of the strategies I use is I fold up a piece of Glad wrap and I put that over the top of the bottle and then put the lid on, and that helps reduce that. But if it does get stuck, all you have to do is warm up the top of the bottle. So run yourself a warm bowl of warm water in the sink, turn the bottle upside down, leave it in there for a few minutes, and the plastic will soften and you can get the lid off very, very easily.